The ministry, Brother Jabril Muhammad. Let's bring him on with a loving round of applause. Come in.
Let's give another round of applause to student Mr. Joseph. I think he really did my job for me. I could just stand up here and look good. So all praises due to Allah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness there's no God but Allah, who came in the esteemed persons of Master W. Fard Muhammad, to whom praise is due forever. I further bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, sitting at the right hand of God today, physically alive. And I further bear witness that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is our big brother, champion, warner, divine reminder, and Messiah in our midst today. It's in their great and holy names like to greet the mighty men and women of God with the greeting words of peace and paradise. We say in the Arabic language, Assalamu alaikum. I am your big little brother. I say big because I'm about 6'3". Brother Jabril Muhammad, and please be patient with me as I go through the current events today. Brother Joseph mentioned being a multifaceted diamond and what it takes, the extreme pressure and heat to go through and achieve that state of matter. Well, what does it mean if you relate that to a spiritual or even self or personal development track? If me, as a believer in God, or just one who's conscious and striving to go stage after stage in the evolution of me as a man, what does that look like? How do I become a multifaceted diamond? And it's through what I like to call maybe true education. We're taught that there are core knowledges, and I teach on this a lot, or I talk about this a lot, that we must know as a people. And that's the knowledge of ourselves, knowledge of our God, knowledge of our time, or the time, and the knowledge of our enemy. So going into education, I'd like to start with Message to the Black Man, actually, if you would have me. Starting on page 39 is a section entitled, Get Knowledge to Benefit Self. It reads, I am for the acquiring of knowledge or the accumulating of knowledge, as we now call it, education. First, my people must be taught the knowledge of self. Then and only then will they be able to understand others and that which surrounds them. Anyone who does not have a knowledge of self is considered a victim of either amnesia or unconsciousness and is not very competent. The lack of knowledge of self is a prevailing condition among my people here in America. Gaining the knowledge of self makes us unite into a great unity. Knowledge of self makes you take on the great virtue of learning. Many people have attempted to belittle or degrade my followers for referring to them as unlettered or unschooled. They do this to imply that the believers in Islam are ignorant. If such a claim were so, then all the more credit should be given for our striving for self-elevation with so little. But truth represents itself and stands by itself. No followers, nor any other people are more zealous about the acquiring of knowledge than my followers. Throughout the Holy Quran, the duty of a Muslim to acquire knowledge is spelled out. Furthermore, it reads, get an education, but one which will instill the idea and desire to get something of your own, a country of your own, and jobs of your own. I want an education from our people that will let them exercise the right of freedom. We are 100 years up, now more than that, from slavery. We are constantly told that we are free. Why can't we take advantage of that freedom? I want an education for my people that will elevate them. Why should we always be lying at the gate begging for bread, shelter, clothing, and jobs if we are free and educated? Do not get an education just to set it up as some useless, symbolic monument to the black man in the Western Hemisphere. We need an education that eliminates division among us. Acquire an education that creates unity and makes us desire to be with our own. All praise is due to Allah. Now you may say, what does this have to do with the current events, Brother Jabril? What does this have to do with the Final Call newspaper? As a lettered young man myself, I can bear witness that though I went to one of the best universities here in America, that some of the best education that I received is from this Final Call newspaper. All praise is due to Allah. This paper is entitled Truth warning, and guidance. I had the pleasure of being at a wonderful business conference yesterday called BullyCon. And one of the brothers who closed us out said a number of things, but his theme, he was a very vibrant and energized brother. He said, we are at war. He said, not against anyone in particular or the white man per se. We are at war with our brothers and sisters, not against, but with. He gave us 4 eyes to think about when it came to really educating ourselves. And he talked about the fact that we come to these conferences, we try to develop ourselves, we get hyped, we get these jewels, and we leave and we don't do anything with it. And then we come back again expecting a different result. But we know what that is when you do something over and over again, expecting a different result. That's insanity. The first I, he said, was identity. Who are you? The followers of the Nation of Islam should know who we are. He said, who is the original man? The original man is the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. Right? All praise is due to Allah. The second I, he said, was intention. What is your intention? We go out with this Final Call newspaper. What is our intention, family? What is the sole purpose of the men who belong to Islam in North America or the Nation of Islam? It's to deliver the dead to the Lamb of God, right? So now, after intention, he gave us, initiative. What does it mean to have initiative or to be proactive? It's like, okay, I want people to come to the mosque. I want people to be a part of my organization. I want people to work with me and pull their resources. Well, get out and promote what it is you're promoting. Get in front of people and have like minds come together for a common cause. And lastly, he said, invest. Every time you take this paper, which is a small book, as so eloquently put by Minister Joseph, you are investing in not only yourself, but the knowledge base that is the 17 or more million in America today. As I continue, now opening up the paper, I hope I warmed this up a little bit. On page 19, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad has an article entitled America. It says, the American white people are more concerned about mistreating the black once slave of America than America is concerned with any nation on earth that is attacking her outlying posts. Her enemies are intensifying their attacks on her. America is right out of the frying pan into the fire all over the earth due to her evil intentions against loyal black once slaves. Emphasis on once slaves, family. Her talk of evil doing against the black once slave in America is worse than it is against any independent nations that are trying to attack and destroy her country. White America has more hatred for the black once slaves in her midst who are faithfully fighting on the firing line to help her against her enemy than she is against the enemy that they are shooting down. Furthermore, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, this is why I cry day and night to my black brothers to seek refuge in Allah God in such a time as this. The Muslims do not, I'm gonna repeat, the Muslims do not have to worry about any such imprisonment with regard to going to jail for America, for the Muslim is already a citizen of the Nation of Islam. All praise is due to Allah. And we have our own people, Muslims, to deliver us by the order of God. This is why it's so necessary that the black man in America accept Allah God and his name and get out of the name of the enemy. Furthermore, it says, white America wants her black once slaves to suffer that which is not due to the black once slave. The black once slave has not sinned, nor has the black once slave attacked other nations except under the order of this white slave master. So family, we're talking about these monumental articles. This is how we gain true education. The education that allows us to elevate ourselves, see value in one another, and then pull our resources to do something for self and not just say, well, I got a job, I'm good. You may be good. You may be financially stable. You may be able to take care of you and your immediate family. But every time, it says every time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us, every time you look at a black man, you're looking at God. So if I'm a black man and I'm God, and I look at my fellow brother, he's God, then what does that say about us together? That we are brothers in faith and we're brothers in our heritage, correct? All praise is due to Allah. So furthermore, going more into this education, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, in a message to President Trump, Part 1, he says, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, he says, I bear witness to the oneness of God, the originator of the heavens and the earth. I bear witness to the oneness of his prophetic community. I bear witness to the aim of God through Muhammad, through Jesus, to bring the whole of humanity together as one family. He created the diversity among human beings. He created colors in the earth, in the stones of the mountains. He created life in numbers that even scientists don't know how many exist. We have not yet discovered all that God has created, nor have we learned the hidden treasures that God has buried in every creature that he created. The truth is that we have not discovered the God within and the beauty of our being, and that the throne of God is on water and the brain is baptized in water. So family, again, there's so much of ourselves that we can study to gain education. I'm not saying anything against getting a college education, GED, getting a master's or PhD, but always understand what you're doing it for. If it's just to become another cog in society, I bear witness in saying that's not the route to go. My goal in being now an engineer is to what are the requisite knowledge base and skills that my people need to build our own. And then how can I take those things, bring it back, align myself with my brother and sister, and then build up the Nation of Islam here on earth. All praise to Allah. So thank you so much. I'd like to thank Minister Rodney for giving me this time. Ms. Joseph for giving me this time. And I'd like to greet you as I came before you with the greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
I know you coming down that soon. Oh, no, you good. All praises to Allah. Praise belongs to Allah. Let's give him another round of applause. Our brothers, student in the ministry, Brother Jabril Muhammad. All praise belongs to Allah. Family, I'm always humbled, and it just makes me happy that when we see our youth, our young people, come up here and then are able to impart truth the way that they do. Like I said, you may have heard, some of you have heard me say it before. I remember when this brother, he was like running around here. His mom said, "Stop that running. Come back here, boy. What you doing?" But now look at him, a young man, a helper in the cause of Islam, helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and our brother, Student Minister Rodney Muhammad. Praise belongs to Allah. Goes to show you the magnificence in this truth. And people, you may be sitting there now saying, I can speak. Somebody saying, I can talk better than that. Well, okay, that's fine. Come on, get into the class. That's what we want you, come on into class. We got a brother that comes out on every Monday night around 7:30. He can help guide you into an understanding of what it is to get on this side and stand here and talk. Well, let's just say that you're not a very good speaker. Maybe you're a little shy. There's a voice within you. Did you know that the man that's in our midst today, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, from his own attestament, he said that when he was a little boy, he stuttered and he stammered. But here's a man who is a master of language. He is a master, I'll just put it this way, he's just a master. No matter what he does it like a master, which shows you, but he too will bear witness that this teaching is what caused him to evolve and develop into what he is today. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, if you want to find out what your finery is, the gift that Almighty God, Allah, has deposited in you, come into this teaching. I know some of you say, well, I don't know, brother's a little hard. Sisters say, yeah, them sisters mean. Well, you come in and you be the nice one, if that's the case. Well, everybody got a part to play. Where you come, maybe that's not their part. Maybe your part is to come in and help us usher in something new. Because that's what this teaching is about. We're trying to get all the best out of our people. And each one of us got something that we can give to each other. But the first thing we got to work on is love of self, love of our God, the man that he puts in front of us, and then we got to look at our own people right next to us. If you were to turn and look at the brother and sister, I'm not telling you to do that, but if you were to turn and look at the brother or sister next to you, did you know that that brother or that sister is a prayer that somebody prayed for? I don't know how many hundreds of years ago, but in 2000, right here, praise belongs to Allah. You are a prayer. You're a prayer. You're a prayer. You're a prayer. But we'll never find out what our ancestors prayed for unless we come into a process that can milk out of us that thing that Allah God has put in us. I mean, if you knew what your gift was, don't you think you'd be exercising it by now? No, it's not. No. It's not sitting and listening to gossip and slander. It's not watching Wendy Williams. She still got a show. I know. Praise be to Allah. I wasn't trying to, that wasn't a trick question. I'm just saying a lot of our people are caught up with the madness of this world. And when you try to give them something that's, tangible, real, and it's good for them, they don't want it. It reminds me of the words of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He said, one day I was walking down the street and I saw a man drop his wallet. He said, I went and picked the wallet up. I opened it, and in it was his ID, all of his credentials. It had money in it, all of that. And he said, I took it to him. And he turned around and looked at me and cussed me out. Yeah, that's the way it is. When we've been taught to hate ourselves so much that when one of our own people bring us something good, we don't want to take it from them. But our enemy can bring us stuff all day and no good is attached to it whatsoever. But we'll take it with a big smile and thank you, sir, thank you, ma'am, and go on about our business. Maybe you don't say it like that, but in the end, that's what it ends up being. So that's why we have to have love for ourselves. When we look at our brother and our sisters, we got to have a genuine love for them. But here again, that first brother or sister that you got to look at, grab a mirror, put it in front of you. Right. Fall in love with that one first. Yes, sir. Every time you walk to the mirror, I don't mean with arrogance, you know what I mean? But do it with a sense of connection to your own people, a connection to the God force, because that's what's going to cause us to change our block. You know that people say that, will tell each other, you ghetto. Ghetto? Well, ghetto ain't a building. Ghetto's not a street. Ghetto is a mindset. And they say, as the saying goes, all actions, as we were taught in our lessons, are preceded by a thought. So in other words, ghetto is just another way of saying you got a low thought process, even about ourselves. I remember our brother said to us once, he said, if somebody walks in this room right now and said to everybody in here, turn around and say, what's up, my niggas? And you turned around. Well, that don't mean that you a nigga. No, it doesn't. But that same person comes in and says, what's up, billionaires? And nobody turns around. What is it that about being a nigga that you're so sure you can be that, but you can never be a billionaire? It's a mindset. It's a process that our enemy hit us in our head, stripped us of who we really are, and we settled on the worst part, not only of our brothers and sisters, but even of ourselves. But this teaching has the ability to lift us up. So let's say you sold drugs one time. Let's say that you did some other wicked things out there to ourselves. Because in the prayer when we open, what do we say? And surely I have been greatly unjust to myself. Did you know that if you marry the thing that you used to do onto Islam, you will come out with something so valuable that you'll start to see yourself getting wealth, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, all those things? Oh, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. So family.